Island of Jonas. As Jonas stood on the dock, disembarking passengers in a swirl of semi-chaos around him, he had no idea what the future would bring, let alone the next few hours. The island was tourism-based, but his intention was to stay and to forget. Leave the questions behind, especially the biggest question of all: why? An exercise in futility, he knew, yet he laid his hopes on the distance he had created. Gilded by sand, sparse of souls. Within an hour he realised his own company made him feel crowded. The distance did not alleviate his pain at all. Settling into the hut with the ocean view, the bamboo walls were already stifling. He tried to find solace in the natural state of things, the caressing winds that carried the smell of the ocean, the sounds of the rush of the tide against the shore, the way the light gave radiance to the trees, as though trying to convince himself that life was all around him still, and was as majestic as he had once found it. The leaves swayed to the tone of the breeze, their song everlasting, and the sand was as soft and crunchy beneath his feet as it had always been. And yet he knew instinctively that no matter how long he remained on the island, none of these things could redeem him. They had lost all meaning. The natural elegance of the tropics was as murky as the repetitious London streets he had left behind. 2 weeks in, he had cabin fever, despite spending more time outside than he had in a year at home. He embarked on a walk, a quick one, in order to calm himself. As the dusk settled, bringing with it his need for the deadening effect of his alcoholic medication, he observed a bird flailing on the ground in the shade of a tropical fern. Its colours were immaculate, yet its pain exquisite. Damaged beak, a broken wing, lost in flight, he speculated, crashed into a branch, deceived by a trick in nature, perhaps a flash of light, yet also the victim of its own failings. It wasn't to know that life could also betray. He could not look away. He searched his thoughts for a solution, already knowing that there was nothing he could do to save it. The parallels struck him. While his own ailments were not physical, he was perhaps worse off than this creature. It wanted to live, and it was only in this moment, as he watched its doomed struggle by his feet, that he comprehended his own fate. His own struggle was pointless. He could not turn a metaphysical corner. His wife would forever remain below ground, a decaying husk. There was no redemption to be found. His shortcomings as a practitioner of medicine had failed her. His pride had interjected into her need for more professional care. Worst of all, she had trusted him. He immediately knew what had to be done for the bird, and then for himself. Both had been deceived by the deficiency of their own instincts, a decision culminating with the taking of a life. Both casualties in life's endless, sporadic acts of cruelty. He scooped up the bird and dashed its head against the earth and left the ants to do the rest. The origins of this story I was walking along a beach and thinking how beautiful it was when I saw a dead bird, a cockatoo of some kind, I'm not sure. But its colours were vibrant and beautiful, and it was dead and had not been dead for long. And it just made me think of perhaps how it died and the parallels between beauty and death and the shortness of life. And somehow this story came to life. It was written approximately 2012, 2013. I hope you enjoyed it. It's from the collection Pseudo Stars, and that can be found along with many other things on my website, anthonyjlangfordbooks.com. Thanks for listening.